Okay, I think we're live. Yeah. Just gonna get a couple of things sorted out before we get into this stream. But if you've seen the title, I'm pretty sure you understand what's going on right now. If you haven't been hiding under a rock. Just gonna add an audio filter here. Let's see, noise gate. Okay, I think that's a bit better, is it not? I haven't got that crackling all the time. See how this works out. Might just have terrible audio as per usual. I don't know, we'll see. Hopefully that makes it a little better though. Alright, so last night H3 has dropped a video basically saying that he's going to be suing several creators for stealing his content. This is a reckoning. This is a reckoning that has been long overdue for many of these people. Now, there is like some criticism of Ethan in this, right? Some people are saying these are small creators. That's unfair. It's unfair to go after these small creators. On a certain level, I can kind of agree with that, okay? I can kind of agree that there is an argument to say, no, it's not fair to do this. However, you have to remember the context of this situation, and these people have been kind of going on the attack against for quite some time now. Not only stealing his content, which is technically I don't know if it's a crime, but it is technically an infraction, copyright infraction, okay? Which he does have legal precedent to go after. But these people have also engaged in a lot of slander and a lot of personal attacks that have culminated in situations where he has essentially had to, well, basically the friggin' CPS have come round, the Child Protection Services, and had to have words with them about his parenting and everything, and because of some hyperbolic stuff that he said on stream that he wasn't actually fully knowledgeable on. He wasn't sure if that was even the illnesses that they had. He was just kind of saying it because that's what he suspected. Probably shouldn't have said it so confidently, but at the end of the day, there was no need to get the Child Protection Services involved. That was a complete overreaction, and it probably was the most likely spurred on by some of these creators, and I think that's just obvious, to be quite frank. So, hello, all 17 people in the chat. That is quite a lot more than I would normally have, so thank you everyone that's tuned in. Get in the chat, I'll be responding to chat as we go, but let's just get into this video right now, because I've only watched a couple of minutes of it. I'm very excited to see like what else he's got to say about this.
Hi there.
Let me know if that's too loud or
is Ethan Klein,
quiet.
and my favorite hobby is spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on lawyers. Today
I have to say, Ethan's kind of coming back to form a little bit in terms of his like comedic style. Like on his podcast, he can be a little bit hit and miss, right?
invite you into my home to share my
It does. I hate these earphones. Pause and unpause if you try and. Anyway, so I think he's gonna come back to form a little bit. Like he's embracing his edgier side again. He's kind of giving no fucks. And I have to say, I quite appreciate it. I quite like Ethan this way. Like, for a while, he was going down that progressive road and being a bit too... just putting the... what do you call it? Like, kind of putting the brakes on himself. Like, kind of restraining himself from being able to be, like, his authentic self. Now, I will say, on his podcast, he can be a bit hit and miss. Like, he can drop some clangers. I've heard some clangers before where I'm just like, okay, man, that didn't really work. But he also comes out with some pretty fucking hot shit sometimes as well. Like he's, you know, that's just the name of the game. It's you're spitballing. Some of it works, sometimes it doesn't work. Just is what it is. But at the moment, he's a bit more on fire, shall we say, given what he's doing. In fact, burning, maybe it's not real money, but Burning money, I'm pretty sure is a crime, right? I'm not actually sure about that. Is that not a crime? But anyway, it doesn't matter. I'm just appreciating his kind of zest right now. I'm liking a little bit of Ethan right now.
Favorite pastime with you. Join me in creating generational wealth for my attorney.
Generational wealth for my attorney.
Let me tell you guys a story. About a year and a half ago, it's a big conversation called ReactGate. ReactGate was a debate going on in the...
Yeah, this shit was just fucking unbelievable when it happened. I don't know if anybody watched any of this stuff, but just the amount of people that thought it was like perfectly acceptable to sit there, watch a whole thing with saying nothing. And they were not just doing it with YouTube stuff, they were doing it with actual TV shows, HBO shows and shit like that, and they were getting away with it. Like, most of them were getting away with it, and it was very hard. Most people who wanted to hold them to account were too small to even be entertained by these people. They wouldn't even, like, you just wouldn't get a word in. H3 was such a big platform that was able to then come along and just go, hey, this shit is bullshit, stop doing it. And he'd have these debates with these guys, and he just fucking embarrassed them publicly, just embarrassed them badly. And as far as I'm aware, they don't, most of them, or at least XQC and stuff, most of them don't do this now. Most of them have kind of seen the writing on the wall and gone, okay, can't just be fucking robbing everybody's fucking content like little little thieves, like poachers, YouTube poachers. So I think that kind of has died down, but there is a certain subsect of the internet who feel entitled to continue to do these things, and would you know it, they're a bunch of socialists. Who would have thought that the people who have an ideology that is predicated on stealing other people's shit, right, for themselves, they claim it's for the working man, they claim it's for everyone else, but when you really get down to it, it's for themselves. And who would have thought that people with an ideology like that would feel entitled to stealing other people's shit, eh? Crazy stuff.
The streaming community about what constituted fair use. People like Hassan, XQC, and many of the large Twitch streamers would watch other creators' entire video on their stream. They would rarely add sufficient commentary or even pause the video to speak. Yeah. Most egregiously, they would re-upload the entire VOD to YouTube.
Yeah, this is another part that is just so bad, man. Like, you literally take their own thumbnail and just whack your face on it. Like, damn, man. It's just such blatant. Like, if this was any other property other than YouTube, it just would not fly at all. Like, you would not be able to watch an entire film, put the poster of the film in the thumbnail, and just put your face over the top of it and just go, wow, I can't believe this movie is so crazy. And then you're literally just watching the whole movie, and like every 10 minutes you go, whoa, wow, didn't see that coming. Like, it's just like, you would not, you'd be sued into oblivion. Why that? So, yeah, he's totally right to point this out. He's just given a quick rundown, but if you haven't seen this before, but yeah, it was
same
mental,
thumbnail,
man, what people
the same title, so that they could cannibalize traffic from the original video. Here's what Lemino had to say about this phenomenon.
I don't mind people reacting to my videos, but I do mind when they play...
Yeah, this has been always my understanding of it as well, and I've been doing React content for a very long time, and my React content is not, you know, the greatest, okay? I'm not going to be sitting here like I'm the bee's knees. But I've always had some respect for the other person's content, and I will always pause. I will always give my thing. I'll pause fairly frequently, just because I understand that at a certain point, if I'm just sat there watching it, yeah, you are basically stealing it. So what are you even doing? If you're not reacting in the moment organically and stopping and starting to give your thoughts and feelings, what are you even actually doing other than stealing? Really? Like, come on now.
The entirety of my video. A face cam in the corner or the occasional interruption does nothing to address that issue. My video is still being played from beginning to end in someone else's stream or video. It's neither ethical nor necessary to feature the entirety of someone else's work, or you know, they could do the bare minimum and ask for permission. Something that none of the major reaction channels have ever done when they've streamed or re-uploaded my videos. But to answer your question, no, I don't want people to stream or re-upload the entirety of my videos.
Now, understandably, this made a lot of people angry because why should these content thieves essentially get more views than the author of the video, which in a lot of cases was happening?
Yeah, that was another big problem with it. And they would make these arguments to say like, oh, well, it'll still drive traffic to that video. It'll still, you know, they still get some views out of it, right? But they're sitting there with like 10 million views on their react on it, and then the other person's got like 30,000 views. And they're basically having that money, that ad revenue, completely siphoned off from them. You know what I mean? It's like they couldn't even... I don't even know if they could copyright strike, because when you copyright strike somebody, normally it funnels that money that they made from that video, from that copyrighted video, to the actual original creator. But I'm not even sure if people back then were actually reliably being able to copyright strike people on this subject. We've got PYXY, I don't even know how you say that, Pixie? Oh yeah, Pixie. But Hassan pauses the video every time to talk, and he doesn't just say a few words. You don't need permission for fair use, dumbass. No, you don't need permission for fair use, but he's just saying that at the very least it would have been nice, especially with these big creators, these like really big guys to have asked, you know, at least asked. Hassan can pause sometimes, alright? I will give some leeway with Hassan. He can do that, but he is quite egregious as well. He's not as bad as some. He's not as bad as XQC. But he does leave the room for prolonged periods of time with just like large chunks of video with like no reaction whatsoever. So come on, man. You can't just sit there and pretend that like Hassan is not somewhat a part of this.
People don't like injustice, and we all see this, and no, it's not right. This debate culminated when XQC, one of the prime suspects, called into my show to debate me, in which case I'm sad to report that I was...
one of the worst public embarrassments of all time. Did he ever recover from this? Because like XQC used to get a lot of views, and as far as I'm aware now, he's actually kind of become kind of irrelevant. Mainly because I think a lot of people also realized that he was just dumb as fuck. Like, seriously, like... borderline retarded IQ levels we're talking here.
Terribly owned. So in that regard, do you care?
Pixie says people have to use the bathroom. Come on now, don't be You're some Hassan, like, shitter, aren't you? You're just like some Hassan, booty licker. Coming up in here, trying to pretend like, oh, it's all innocent, they're just going to the toilet or whatever. Well, a lot of people, what a lot of other streamers do is when they need to go to the toilet, they'll pause the video and they have a screen that they throw up that plays a little bit of background music. So, oh, we're coming back soon, bathroom break, or whatever the fuck it says on it. So, yeah, I'm not really convinced by that, to be frank. I think it's a crock of shit, actually.
At all about, like, IP or copyright? Or, like, the fact that it's illegal, does that matter? That it might be illegal, does that matter to you?
No.
It doesn't matter.
Well, if flat out doesn't, because...
Well, that's fair.
Watch me full screen cam, do the fucking worm, then watch your prime...
Like, seriously, though, who would watch XQC if he just wasn't watching other people's shit? Like, what has he really got to say of any importance or interest or insight whatsoever? Peter Van Kett says, yes, but pause the video and go to the bathroom and not leave the room for 30 minutes. Yes, Peter knows what's up. He knows what's up.
Prime
Do
content.
it for a week. Do a week of no reaction content and see how many fucking views you get. Okay, sure. I mean, that's content, man. It's original content, at least. The ultimate debate, bro. He hit him with the worm. Oh, what didn't I think?
Got him! Fucking got him with that one, lad. Fucking hell. Imagine, right, XQC just doesn't react to anything ever again. Which, to be fair, I think he probably still does reaction content, but he must pause it a lot more after this, because this is, like, just one of the worst public embarrassments. Pixie says, and most of the videos he reacts to are from big corporations like Vox, not small YouTubers. Irrelevant, actually. Actually, just an irrelevant point. You're basically just saying, like, oh, it's the classic fucking socialist thing. Oh, you can just rob from them because they're rich or whatever. It's probably a little bit different with the videos, I will say, but this kind of idea, it trickles down to stuff like, yeah, go and steal from Walmart and all that kind of stuff. And they don't realize that when certain Walmarts or certain local supermarkets or chains or whatever are taking such huge losses from this kind of thing, they close down. And all those working class people that worked in those fucking supermarkets are now jobless because of you fucking retards, not thinking 5 or 4, even 1 step ahead of yourselves, because you don't actually have real empathy. You just pretend to have empathy. If you had empathy, you'd be able to actually go down the logic chain and go, oh shit, yeah, this might actually have some consequences that are not good for the working classes. And instead of just going after the actual people that run these companies and saying, hey, stop exploiting the workers and putting more protections in, doing stuff, stop undermining American workers with illegal immigration and all this fucking crap. You don't fucking think of any of that shit, do you? No. You just go for whatever sounds good to you, whatever makes you think in your tiny little brain, makes you think it makes you look like a good person. That's all it is. It's all appearances. It's not actually real. You are not good people. Or just pretending to be good people.
Think of that first. I kid XQC, but he is not the one I'm suing. Despite my criticism, he's not a malicious infringer. But the ones I am suing, you'll see, are much, much worse. Now, ironically, after this debate and in the wake of this large conversation, the problem seems to have only gotten worse. You have people like Hassan Piker paving the way of fair use with what's known as chair reacts, when Hassan gets up to go to the bathroom, or to eat, or to talk to his mom, or to do whatever.
Classic chair react. I'm probably getting one guide by Pixie, but I don't care, because this people like this need to be challenged. I feel like they need to be challenged quite badly, because their ideas just proliferate around, and because they sound good on paper, they appeal to like your emotions. It's very manipulative. They appeal to your emotions in a certain way, and then it gives them a license to be like, well, if you're against this idea, you must just be a bad person. It's like, no, maybe there are just other ideas. Maybe there are just other ways outside of your little Marxist paradigm to think about things. Maybe if you had some imagination and some intelligence, you could take Marxist ideas and evolve them and change them and think outside the box and stuff like that. But you can't do that because you're fundamentally dumb. That's the problem. So, crazy thing about Ethan Klein is that he wanted people to react to the content news. And now wants to do. Guess what, man? They had their own freedom of choice to do that or not. Just because he accurately predicted these people would do this retarded shit doesn't mean anything, actually. It's actually a completely irrelevant point altogether. So, leftists generally are all sound bites and very vague on actual policy. That's what Darth Sam Plays says. Oh, I remember Darth Sam Plays. You've been in here before. How are you doing, man? Leftists generally all sound bites and very vague on actual policy. Yeah, well, they do have policies, but their policies are fundamentally flawed the vast majority of the time, and they end up usually bringing about a lot of the problems that they seek to avoid. And that's because, again, they don't actually have empathy or understanding of things. Generally, it's all about virtue signaling, and virtue signaling is not genuine, it's not authentic, it's just a means to appear good. It is. And what are the companies losing? 17 cents. The companies themselves are not being necessarily harmed by, you know, like the Walmarts and stuff like that. They're not necessarily being harmed when they're having their stuff stolen, right? But they run on bottom lines, right? You have to understand the capitalist system that you live in, right? You're a fucking Marxist, right? So if you understand that, if a store starts losing all of its money or whatever, they go, okay, we'll close this one down. And then you've just fucked over about 50 odd people in that community who were fucking relying on that for themselves and their families. And then who were paying tax into the fucking system and everything as well. So you're basically just fucking them over in the long run just so you can feel good about, yeah, just steal from Walmart and stuff like that. Like, it's fucking very short-sighted. It's not empathetic. It's just a fucking way to feel good. That's all it is. He didn't predict it, he wanted it. Guess what? Well, guess what would have happened? What would have happened if when they watched it, they paused it and they were within fair use when they did it? Well, he wouldn't be able to do this now, would he, you stupid twat? So, yes, I was here when the UK general election happened, and now things have changed. Lol. Yeah, how the turns have tabled since then. I will say I'll give some thoughts on Labour maybe another day and what's been happening with British politics. I won't keep that in this video because I just want to keep it on the main topic, but I probably will talk about Labour soon because been some interesting developments with Labour, I will say. Anyway, let's continue.
Ever disappears for an extended period of time and leaves the video playing for his chair. Mr. Chair, they call it.
IDF had warned people to leave the area around the main airport.
Ironically, the chair actually has better takes than Hassan does.
In Sana, then this.
Walmart closing stores from shoplifting, laughing face. Yes, Nick Rubel. That does happen. And it's not even just places like Walmart. It could be any company, even small businesses. It happens to small businesses and they can't recover and their insurance goes really high and then they have to put their prices up. There's all these fallouts to this, right? This is why Marxists, what you got to do is you got to not just read Marx. You've got to also understand other economic principles as well. You can't fight the capitalist system without understanding how it actually works. Marxism is just a point of view, an analysis. And there's parts of it that are correct, there's parts of it that are worth taking away, that have merit, and then there's other parts to it that are very heavily dated or misguided. And they're not always offering, Marxism doesn't necessarily always offer solutions or good ideas. You've got to start thinking for yourself. It's not the gospel, okay? It's not the fucking Bible. What you got to realise is you got to learn economics in general, and if you really want to help the working classes, then you can figure out better ways, think outside the box, outside the left-right paradigm. Use your brains, guys. Use your fucking brains. No store is being shut down from a few cents. It's not just a few cents, you daft twat. It's over a year. It'll be thousands, tens of thousands of dollars lost. Right, that's what they're looking at, and then when their bottom lines go down for that particular store in that particular area, especially because a lot of times it's the low income areas that are being affected, that is who it's affecting primarily. So if they close down that store, and they have closed them down, I can pull up articles where they've closed Walmarts all across the fucking country because of shit like this. I know you're ignorant as fuck, yeah, but I'm gonna tell you straight up, this is how it fucking works, and this is how it is. So, Walmart closing across America due to theft. It might be a little bit old. Closes 3 stores amid rising crime. When was that? 2024. Walmart closing stores due to rampant theft in 2023. So, yes, it does fucking affect people, you stupid dickheads. Just because you've never looked past your nose, just because you've never looked past your own ego, right? Just doesn't mean it's not true, okay? You're just ignorant. It's as simple as that. We've got a few people in the chat here. We're getting a fair few people in here today. Thank you, everybody. Please like, subscribe, all that fucking bullshit, yeah? I don't think Ethan wants to trick people and then sue them. No, he genuinely wanted to do that video. I think he just knew some of these people are going to come out of the woodwork and pull some shenanigans. I think that's what he... All these streamers properly react, and there was no case. Exactly. I also think that Ethan doesn't want a lawsuit. There's going to be a settlement. I don't know about that. I think he might actually, because he's got money, I think he does just want to make an example out of them a little bit, to be quite honest, because it does also set a legal precedent. If you settle, I don't think you get that legal that legal casework that you can reference for other trials in the future. So I think he probably does want to all the way with it. He may even go after more people than these 3. This might just actually be like a first wave of like a snowballing rampage that's going to be going on here. Darth Sem says, on topic, Hasanabi, or whatever his name is, I find him to be a complete fraud and con man. Yes. Well, he openly calls himself a propagandist, which is basically, that is just that. That is just what that means. Proper champagne socialist, rules for thee but not for me mindset. Wouldn't trust him at all. Yeah, imagine Hassan as the communist leader. Look at how he conducts himself and how he hoards his own wealth and how he uses and leeches off other people's wealth to quote-unquote fundraise. You know, like, what does he actually put back into these communities? What does he actually do for people, realistically? Pretty much nothing. So a person like this, who is like so deeply narcissistic and selfish, who was given ultimate power over the country in like a communist dictatorship, I wouldn't be thinking that that's going to result in anything good. Let's just that's an understatement for sure. We'll read some headlines. Boom, it's settled. Yeah, I'm not going to spend all my time on this stream proving to you. I just showed you there are headlines of this happening. I proved that it is happening. You can look into it yourself. I know you're ignorant, Nick Rubel. I know you're a very ignorant person, and that's why you didn't even know those headlines existed in the first place. But, you know, Google is free, and you can look into it yourself if you really want to understand it. But anyway, I will continue. I will interact with the chat. It's just that there is a few chatters in now, so I can't react to every single chat. But I will be reacting to chat as we go. Oh my god. Right, sorry. It's just that Pixie just came back, so I'm being one-guyed by Pixie, but I actually do have to respond to her. Poverty is an all-time high, and no one is going to sit around and wait for someone to hire them. Well, poverty would probably be, and inequality would probably be a lot less if mass migration wasn't occurring in the country and subverting the wages, subverting the value of the currency, subverting the prices and the services and stretching them thin, all that shit, right? You don't have any real understanding of economics. And I'm going to tell you right now, illegal migration and mass migration is the real concept, is the issue. Illegal migration is just the mechanism by how they do it in America. But we've had mass migration in the UK as well, but they did it legally. Realistically, it's the volume, it's the numbers, it's the supply and demand. Please learn supply and demand. You really need to understand this. You want to be able to fight capitalism, right? So what they do is they inject loads of people into a country to drive up prices of properties and lands and services, stretch services thin so they can privatize them and all this kind of stuff. That's the fucking point of all this. It's for the capitalist class. It's always been for the capitalist class. And this actually goes all the way back to Aristotle. If you don't know who Aristotle is an ancient Greek philosopher who worked for a tyrant at one point. He was forced to. Because obviously if he didn't, he was probably going to get executed. So he had to work for a tyrant, and he wrote some observations about how tyrants actually conduct themselves and how they govern, how they manipulate society. And one of the main features of a tyrannical government or a tyrant leader was that they would inject lots of foreigners into the country for various reasons. In fact, before you even had such a thing as class division and all this stuff and alienation of the workers, Aristotle basically came up with the same idea when he noticed that tyrants would bring these foreigners in to divide up the public and have them fighting each other and stuff, and it was a convenient way to distract people from other stuff. That doesn't mean that the problems with the foreigners were not real. They were still real, but they were bringing them on purpose to have those problems. That's the thing. So they purposefully bring people who will not mesh. That is the fucking point of it. Whose idea was to gatekeep human necessities? Yeah, you know what? I'm against companies being considered people. They're not people, okay? I'm not a capitalist in like this general sense. Like, I have a lot of sympathies with Marxist thought, okay? And I'm a working class person. If you know anything about my story on this channel, I'm actually technically homeless right now. I have no fixed abode. I'm at the very bottom of society, okay? Just to be very frank about that. And when it comes to all this stuff, if you really want to turn this around for the working classes, you've got to get real about how it really is. You can't just be saying slogans. You can't just be saying things that make you feel good. It's not how this shit works. You need to get educated and understand what they're doing. And this is for the sake of all working class people across the world. Because when they bring in these illegal immigrants, or when they're bringing in mass migration or whatever, they're fucking them over too. They're promising them a thing that they're probably not going to deliver on. And it's fucking it up for everyone at the bottom. It's there. And so at the end of the day, you guys just really need to get real and understand what is actually going on, because you actually don't. You have too much hubris to even look at yourself and go, is there actually flaws in the way that I think? All these years that we keep pushing the same thing and like nothing ever changes, and in fact somehow it actually seems to help the capitalist class. Like, why is this happening? Why are things being, you know what I mean? Like, yes, we can regulate companies and stuff like that so that they can't abuse the system as much. That's what we need to be thinking about, not tearing down capitalism. If you tear it down, you're basically just asking for a vacuum of power that could probably create much worse shit. So you need to be thinking about how do we attack capitalists within their own system so that they can't abuse it anymore. And learn what policies are abusive and which policies are not abusive. Things like that, right? You need to start getting your head around all this. No, I'm not a corporate dick rider. I fucking hate corporations. The point being is that you You just have a very simplistic view of how to deal with all this. That's the fucking issue. You have the mind of a 2-year-old. That's the problem. You're not listening to a dick. You weren't listening in the first place. So there's no change, is there? You're not listening to a dick, right? You were never listening because your own hubris is too loud.
We're well, I've been seeing
And it was in this setting that I formulated an idea. What if I could make a long-form, irresistible piece of content?
Pixie's in the chat calling me an anti-intellectual. Yeah, right. Okay. If you just listened to everything I fucking said and thought I'm an anti-intellectual, then you are fundamentally retarded and you have no place in public discourse.
That I knew that these streamers couldn't resist, they couldn't avoid the temptation of watching it the second it was published.
Yeah. I don't have an issue with them.
It's not that I wanted these people to steal my video, it's that I knew they would. I knew they would watch the entire video, add little to no commentary, react to it instantly, giving them no time to form an opinion. The trap was set, and it worked even better than I imagined it would. We captured pretty much every large streamer reacting to it in its entirety immediately after it was published. Now the thing is, there were a few people that went above and beyond to commit copyright infringement. For example, Denim sits here silently with nearly 50,000 live viewers.
Talking about anti-intellectuals. Look into the eyes of Denims here. Look into the eye. Look into the blank expression. Do you wonder what's going on behind those eyes? You know what I mean? It's like tumbleweeds out there. You know, it's like a vast plain savannah.
That's 30 times her regular viewership.
By the way, I'm pretty sure his Denim's not been implicated in the Destiny shit, in the Destiny, fucking, what do you call it, Destiny trial that's been going on lately. I might do a stream on that, actually, because I'm pretty sure he's done some videos about it recently. I haven't kept up with it, but I'd swear that she came out being like, I might have been implicated in that. And it's just so weird sometimes when, like, oh no, I think it was not that she'd done anything sexual with him, but I think he'd recorded some conversations with him. Which is weird, to be fair. I'm not gonna lie, it is weird to record. Well, unless there's like a very explicit reason to do so, like they're abusive or something. Pixie, by the way, you're going to tell me to stop using the R word? No, this is my channel. I'll say and do and think whatever the fuck I want on here. You do not have power or authority here. I know you think you could come along and tell everybody else what to do, again, because you're like an egomaniac. Yeah, I get it. You are exposing yourself here to everybody in the chat. But no, that's not going to happen. I'm going to say and do whatever I want. If you're a grown adult, you should be able to hear some naughty words and not cry about it. That's what being an adult is. So Darth Sam says, leftists have a big sphere on Twitch, Reddit generally, but YouTube, Twitter, X, and Facebook are generally more right-leaning, probably for the best. Twitch is absolute cesspit Twitch is absolute cesspit on. Yeah. So I would generally agree with that assessment. I'd say that yeah, Reddit and YouTube is a mixed bag because you have got a lot of very prominent breadtubers on there and stuff as well. So I think YouTube is a bit more down the middle, but maybe with a little bit more of a right-wing bias, I guess. And I think it's fine. I think it's fine to have places that are a bit more one way than the other. I don't hate that Twitch is more left-wing. It does annoy me that they don't employ their rules across the board. I find that very annoying. But other than that, I don't find it such a problem per se. Yeah, I don't even know if I have anything more to say about that. I think it's just kind of natural that people gravitate towards different places like that. And I will say that the right-wing side of it has its own issues. There's echo chambers on both sides, and both of them can have extreme elements to it that can push people in pretty drastic ways. that I think are unhealthy. And I think that even though I have my own element of like conspiracy brain about a lot of stuff in the world, I try to keep those ideas as grounded as possible in what can be possible. Whereas I think a lot of people on the right wing, they do jump off the deep end a lot when it comes to conspiracy theories. You know, they might take one conspiracy theory that has like some plausibility, but then they'll have lots of other conspiracy theories they believe in that are just obvious, ridiculous bullshit. You know, and the left wing side, it's more that like they're just like very deeply anti-science when it's just not convenient for them. Like they're very anti-statistics, very anti-science and stuff when it just goes against their narrative, which is just like a very deep blind spot and just is anti-truth, which is more or less just like a kind of postmodernist perspective, which is what a lot of the left have become these days.
She's working directly with the Snark subreddit moderators to siphon views, and their intentions couldn't be clearer. Here's an excerpt from a stickied post from the Snark subreddit. Hey everyone, we've seen a lot of comments about wanting to watch the nuke without showing support for H3. Here's a list of creators who've supported our sub, either by engaging with us directly or citing our post in their critique of H3.
So this is them actually organizing. They're literally organizing the theft of this video between multiple sources. That's just, and they've got this evidence out in the public. You know what I mean? Like, they're not very smart people. They're not very smart.
They're offering these streamers as market substitutes for my work. This is the cardinal sin of copyright infringement. The Snark subreddit has been a frequent and persistent infringer. That's how I knew when this video came out, the Snarkers were going to encourage, promote, and push streamers to commit.
Can I just say, I find the term Snarker incredibly cringe. I know that they have to say it because that's just what the thing is called. But I just, every time I hear the word, I'm just like, it just goes through. It's like nails on a chalkboard, you know. Like it's not a fun word to hear. Like I would prefer to hear a ream of slurs.
Copyright infringement.
I prefer to hear a ream of slurs before I would like to hear the word snark.
Thank the Snarkers, actually. Because of their predictability, they acted like double agents for us, incriminating their favorite streamers and serving them up on a golden platter. So, thank you, Snark. It's one thing for a subreddit to admit it's engaging in copyright infringement, but how do you get the streamers themselves to admit that they're stealing content?
Well, guys, if you enjoyed not giving any views to that terrible video, follow, subscribe, throw a prime if you like the content, if you enjoyed your time here.
It turns out they just do it for you. You couldn't cook up a more incriminating statement if you tried. Denims, the queen of self-owning, you prevail again. There's one thing about copyright you should know is that you got to register it.
This is what I mean, man. How can you possibly trust the economic acumen of these kinds of people, their instincts? How could you possibly trust anything people like Denims have to say? And they can't even think in like a basic legal framework. They can't even think to themselves, hey, this might have some blowback on me if I don't do this, especially because I've had interaction beefs with people before. Why this might actually, he might be watching. Maybe I should actually clue myself up on stories and what I can and can't get away with, blah blah blah. Didn't even think that at all whatsoever. Just continues on without any care in the world. That is the kind of hubris we're dealing with here.
Before you publish, to be eligible for statutory damages and attorney's fees, which is the main biting force of a copyright infringement lawsuit. Well, I'm happy to tell you guys now, I, Ethan Klein, have registered Hassan Piker Content Nuke with the United States Library of Congress. Some of you guys out there sweating? Even though theoretically I could.
What does that mean? Is that a real thing? Can you just like register a piece of media with like the kind of I'm assuming that's like a national library thing, right? I don't actually know. So he's like registered with this. So would that mean? I guess that would give it some kind of like extra legal presence. I honestly don't know. If anybody knows in chat, what that would actually mean, because I honestly have no clue, and I'm not even sure if he's being fully serious. I don't know, maybe he'll explain.
Could sue a lot more creators and rake in millions of dollars.
But right, I see. So let me run this back a sec. Maybe I just jumped the gun.
Registered Hassan Piker Content Nuke with the United States Library of Congress. Some of you guys out there sweating? Even though theoretically I could sue a lot more creators and rake in millions of dollars, but the purpose of this is not financial gain. People like XQC and Asmongold may have watched the entire thing, but I would never sue them just for doing that. I don't want to chill the reaction community into fear. Actually, the opposite. I hope that we can all unite against this type of egregious behavior that not only makes us...
Did we just see the I want to see how long is the actual I can't actually remember how H3 and content. I can't fucking I'm so bad. So that is 1 hour 42. So those two videos with HXQ and what's his face? Asmongold. Asmongold was like 4 hours long. That's like almost double the time. And XQC was like an hour extra, like 1:42, right? So it was an hour extra. So at the very least, they had actually learned some lessons. Asmongold, I don't think has ever really been that bad on fair. But XQC obviously is a known offender. But obviously he's learned from that mistake, and he's added an extra hour of content to that. So they have actually obviously done some commentary at the very least. Whereas like people like Denims and Frogan and all these other people, probably the very bare minimum. I wouldn't be surprised if it was pretty much the exact same amount of time in terms of the runtime of their videos.
all look bad, but could destroy the commentary community as we know it.
Well, guys, if you enjoyed not giving any views to that terrible video, follow, subscribe, throw a prime.
The state of reaction content on Twitch is so broken, these creators feel comfortable looking right into a camera and saying outright, hey, I'm stealing this guy's content. Pay me instead of him. This is not a healthy environment. And with people like Hassan reacting to entire TV shows on stream, my fear is that Sony or Disney comes along, sues everybody, and sets a devastating precedent that could endanger our entire field.
Yeah, that is actually quite a real threat. They could, these big companies could, they obviously have a lot of leverage, especially over these media companies like Twitter. And he's not wrong to worry about if they come along and there's just, you know, they say like, look, you're just stealing all our content, you're watching TV shows on here, you're barely even saying anything about it. We're going to make it so that you just can't watch shit at all now. You can't, React content can just basically not exist, even if you're commentating on it and stuff like that. They could potentially come in and do something to that effect, potentially, because obviously they have a lot more sway. Somebody like Ethan Klein, who he has sway in this sector of the internet on a certain level, but not like Disney, not like fucking Warner Bros.
Now, before I tell you who the 3 people I'm suing are, I just want to make it clear that they all met this very specific high bar of criteria that I set forth earlier. These people were not targeted.
Yeah, Darth Sam says, some people... This is the same people who think being a streamer is harder than a 9-to-5, by the way. I know, mate. It's actually pathetic. These people think that they represent the working classes and all this stuff, and they're sitting there spitting in their faces at every turn. It's unbelievable. Grace D. Jesus says, you don't have to register anything to own your content in the USA, but registering it as one official work makes the protection much stronger. Right, got you. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I kind of guessed that, but I just wasn't like fully sure what the deal. And welcome to the channel, by the way.
Targeted based on their gender, their identity, their political beliefs. All 3 are on this list. In fact, they're the only 3, as far as I could tell, that reacted to the full video. Drum roll, please. Who's sweating at home, guys? Kaceytron, the queen of ripping farts and bong loads.
They do musicals. They're very musical people. I know. Are you being serious? Dog, what do you look? You think...
I'm not gonna lie. I've gotten high on stream before, so can't judge too harshly.
I made this?
Frogan, who, bless her soul, she's still rising.
Can I walk away and use the bathroom?
She's still a rising star, guys.
Permission. Can I use the bathroom, please? I'll leave it playing.
So she just went to do a mega shit then. Is that the implication here? She just went to just like, can I get to the toilet, please? And literally takes like a 30-minute shit. Is that what's going on here?
Apparently thinks Twitch is liable for me interviewing a Yemeni teenager.
Sorry, guys, I had to evacuate my bowels violently.
His entire life.
What happened?
And Denims, the queen of self-owning. And my God, is she the queen of that?
It's very obvious from the way that guy's talking, he's a Sneeko fan.
Oh my God, bro, I love you. Can I give you a hug, bro?
I'm so sweaty, bro.
I love you, bro.
None of the hostages that have been released so far have said that they have been raped. The hostages have public statements. You can go look at them.
The sexual assault.
Oh my God, this shit. Denims is probably one of the worst offenders in terms of just how dumb, like the ratio between how dumb she actually is in reality versus how smart she actually thinks. Like, Hassan at the very least has some self-awareness that he knows that he's dumb. And that's why he gets triggered when people say that. Frogan, again, the gap is just not so wide. Not as wide as it is with Denims. Denims is like, it's like a chasm. Unbelievable.
What I experienced should never happen to any human being.
This Yemeni kid is just a Yemeni kid with a gun and is not a Houthi, and there is no proof of him being a Houthi.
Are you a soldier? Yes. That seems pretty definitive.
He never said Hassan Nasrallah was a good guy.
I can't believe I'm calling Nasrallah base. I mean, listen.
Now for the fun part. Let's take a look at the complaints. And let's start with my favorite of the three, the very own, the prestigious, the highly acclaimed, the highly analytical Kaceytron.
A lot of people have been wanting to watch this.
You know, I've heard the name Kaceytron many times, but I've never ingested any content from Kaceytron. I didn't even know Kaceytron was like a bread tuber kind of left-wingy type. I honestly had no clue about that. So this will be interesting. I've never seen anything from her. We'll see how she fits into the equation.
Without necessarily supporting Ethan Klein. So we're going to watch it.
Well, that's a really dumb thing to say, don't you think? Why are you so comfortable? We've given each complaint a clever little title, and here's Kaceytron's. She smoked more than she spoke. Kaceytron smokes 42 times during her reaction. And just as a silly thought experiment, we thought, wouldn't it be funny if she spent more time smoking than she did talking? And thinking there was no way that that could be true. Well, we tallied them up, and lo and behold, there's 15 minutes 40 seconds of commentary versus 18 minutes and 55 seconds of smoking. She spent 3 minutes and 15 seconds longer smoking than she did talking in her.
And so the commentary is, that's the bare minimum that she added, because while she's smoking, she's just watching it, not like pausing it to smoke, surely. So realistically, the only commentary she added was an extra 15 minutes, which I in my opinion, that would definitely fall more into the idea of this is like a more of like a theft thing, like a copyright theft.
Quote unquote reaction. And whatever talking she did was just to express how confused she was, presumably from smoking for.
There's not even anything to say that she was necessarily pausing it to speak as well. So I don't even know if that 15 minutes is even added on to the runtime. Can't say that for certain, but yeah, that's pretty damning. That is very damning at times.
What is happening? I'm trying to follow. I've lost the plot.
The complaint continues. Indeed, Kaceytron is often too obliterated to comment on the nuke, and instead stares blankly at her computer screen. In a span of 2 hours...
Peak content, guys. Peak content. Just watching a stoner that's been completely obliterated by weed. Like, at the very least, right, when I get high on stream, which is not very often, but when I get high on stream, and I might debate somebody or react to some content or something, I mean, at the very least, I'm adding something, you know? I'm actually giving some coherent ideas and stuff. I'm not getting just completely obliterated like that, where a thought cannot actually pass through my brain to my lips, you know? That's just... That's just next level. And people are actually tuning in and watching this shit. Like, what the fuck?
In 7 minutes, Kaceytron smokes marijuana, frequently in highly concentrated forms through vaporizers, on 42 separate occasions. At one point, Kaceytron is so wasted that she states, quote, "What is happening? I'm trying to follow, but I've lost the plot." To give you an idea, the majority of her commentary comes down to this.
I don't understand this bit that he's doing.
He's read more books than you could ever imagine.
See, PMs coming out of Qatar.
What the hell
you
is
kids
going
love
on?
anime.
I have the wherewithal when I get too high on stream, because I have been too high on stream before, where I'm kind of like this, where I'm getting a bit like, okay, I'm not even sure if I can. And when I get that kind of high, I realize it and I go, okay, I need to end the stream. Right, I'm not doing a whole stream like that. It's usually more like the tail end of a stream. But yeah. You cannot be doing this, man. You cannot be doing a stream where you get obliterated in the first 10 minutes and then you just can't operate. She's doing them massive bag things. I've done one of them in Amsterdam. Fuck me, man. They fuck you up big time.
More books than you could ever imagine.
What is happening? I'm trying to follow. I've lost the plot.
By the way, guys, I'm not necessarily trying to, what's the word? Promote weed smoking, by the way, or anything like that. If you guys are not into weed smoking, everyone's got their preferences on that. I would generally discourage people from it as well. I just don't think it's like as crazy bad as what's. I just think you shouldn't smoke it every day. I've had times where I've smoked it every day, and that has definitely worsened my life. So I'm speaking from experience. I'm not just saying that flippantly. I do think that you probably should discourage that kind of thing. Sometimes I think some people react to it as if it's like fucking heroin or something. Come on, guys, not that. Just calm down a little bit, right? Let's not be hysterical.
They do musicals. They're very musical people. Are you being serious? Dog, what do you... Look! You think I made this?
Oh, this girl.
Video, Hassan.
And as dumb as all of that is, this is the part that really got her sued.
A lot of people have been wanting to watch this without necessarily supporting Ethan Klein. So we're gonna watch it. What the fuck is going on here?
Stating outright that her intention of doing this is so that people who don't want to support me can watch it through her is why copyright infringement laws exist. You could not and should not do that, especially if your commentary consists of you taking bong loads. At least try to engage with the content. Whoa, what was that?
Isn't there a TOS on that as well on Twitch or whatever? Is there not a TOS of like in general? Like, it's one thing if you go off screen, you know, have a smoke and then you come back, or maybe you have a spliff, or how would you put it? Kind of looks like a cigarette, right? So if it looks like a cigarette, you have some kind of plausible deniability with. But just doing like literal massive bong rip, whatever, like you just really say that that's not ingesting drugs, right? Do they not have a TOS on that in general? I don't know how Twitch. To be fair, they do seem to be pretty liberal with these lefty types. They kind of let them do it.
Oh, sorry. That was a flying star. It almost got me. You know her and you love her, guys. Frogan. Reaction by exiting. Here she is getting up to leave the video running as she steps out of the room. Is that transformative? I guess the judge will decide. She said, quote, "It's time to watch the new nuke ethically. Hell yeah." Huh.
Ironic. Very ironic. We're gonna watch it ethically. How ironic. Wow.
Very smart to say on camera, by the way. She said, quote, "Thank you guys so much. I do appreciate everyone's support. And thank you for watching it with me." Well, you are so welcome, and I'm so glad that you were able to enjoy that day. Her commentary is so non-existent that even her own fans begin to call her out.
I don't have anything to say, dude. Because
I love that Magic the Gathering reference, by the way. I'm a big Magic the Gathering fan.
Cycling the same fucking points over and over again. What more commentary do you need on him repeating the same fucking points for the whole first hour and 1 minute and 32 seconds? It's been the same shit over and over again. This video could have been condensed into 20 fucking minutes. Like, what commentary do you want me to add by, like, oh, this guy's a fucking idiot, he's mentally ill, and he's having a mental breakdown and uploaded it to fucking YouTube? Are you gonna make at least one good point? What do you want me to make a point on?
Oh, I forgot. She also said, "Can I use the bathroom, please? I'll leave it playing." You may use the bathroom, Frogan, although I don't advise it.
Can I use the bathroom, please? I'll leave it playing.
This into your stomach. And let me state the obvious. Jew and
apparently thinks Twitch is liable for me interviewing a Yemeni teenager who's only known genocide his entire life.
What happens?
Fucking talking about
Well, you just pause it. That's it. You just pause the video, right? Like you get up and you go to the bathroom. You just pause it. They should be watching for you. But
Yeah,
if you
it's mad that these streamers who have been streaming for so long and they have like donos set up, they have all these things set up, but they can't set up like a back soon guys screen with some background music to play while they go to the bathroom. Like, I could probably set something like that up. I haven't right now, to be fair. Mainly just because the laptop I have here is not the greatest. I don't have access to Photoshop and that, so you know, I could probably make a very makeshift crap one for sure. I could make a makeshift crap one and put that together. It'd probably take me like what, maybe an hour or two to do that. But I don't normally stream long enough, or at least I don't plan on to continue streaming long enough for that to even. So yeah, I don't know. But yeah, you just think these people who've been doing it for so long, they'd have something, be more savvy to that. Like, none of them do. It's just very bizarre.
Get up to go to the bathroom and they keep watching my video, they're clearly not watching for you, right? As lazy and pathetic as her reaction is, this is not why she's getting sued. This is.
Thank you guys so much. I do appreciate everyone's support. And thank you for watching it with me. First time viewer, time to watch the nuke ethically? Hell yeah. I found my way from Reddit. Hi guys, welcome Reddit people. Reddit people, Reddit people. I came from the H3H3
I'm
Reddit.
assuming the 20-minute thing at the top there.
Ethan is so pathetic.
No, that can't be right. It's 20 hours, 14. I can't tell if that's.
I
can't tell if that's from Ethan or if that's from first. Whatever.
Exactly. We're gonna watch it live. Yes. He doesn't want people to know when it's dropping because we're all watching through other streamers. And I suggest you all watch it through other people as well.
It's the stated malicious intent to steal. They talk about watching ethically, but I learned not to steal when I was 5.
What's up with that blush, by the way? I'm not. I try not to go after people's looks, generally speaking, but what is going on with that fucking blush, man? You're like half an Oompa Loompa going on here. Like, what is fucking happening, man? Is it because they don't really allow makeup in Islam that she's now just looking a bit crazy? She's trying a hand with a bit of makeup and it's just gone a bit awry? I can't tell what she's trying to do here. It's like half...
Up next is Denims.
Half Donald Trump a little bit.
And honestly, just take a look at this, guys. It's a nightmare on Denim Street. Not only did she chair react, but she was kind enough to write her name right at the top just so that we knew that she was stealing my content and it was her room and nobody else's. Judge, did you know that we're on Denim Street right now? Here's some quotes from Denims. We're relying on you to stay live so we don't have to give the nuke views. Yeah, I'm going to stream it. Since he's confirmed it's coming out today, I'm going to stream it. That is very explicit. Denim said, quote, well, guys, if you enjoyed not giving any views to that terrible video, give me a follow, subscribe, throw a prime if you like my content. Your content? The Queen of Self-Own included a countdown timer so we could tell exactly how long she was away. After being gone for a few minutes, she returns and then sits silently for another couple of minutes eating.
I'm gonna go pee, and hopefully, when I'm back, they're done with this.
See, that on its own, like if they were doing regular pause and react and like very regular pause and react while they're streaming this, it is a long video and they're probably there for several hours. If you were going to be reacting to it, it would be it'd be way more acceptable than spend a couple of minutes eating in silence, bonding. Just done shitloads of other reacts, so it's not gonna. Overall, it wouldn't be as egregious. I think the issue here is that not only is she doing this, but she is mainly just sat there watching.
You do look better.
Mr. 305. I see it.
Dude, you should do this.
I have an alternate.
We're relying on you to stay live so we don't give more views on the nuke. Yeah, I'm gonna stream it. Since he confirmed it's coming out today, we're gonna stream it. If you want to watch it with someone else who's already watching it, you know, come enjoy the watch party somewhere else. If you enjoyed not giving any views to that terrible video, follow, subscribe, throw a prime if you like the content, if you enjoyed your time here, because I'm going to be honest, I did not want to watch that by myself.
Let me also commercialize it by asking you to reward me financially for stealing his content. That is like chef kiss. By the way, Denims had a very successful stream. She had 43,000 people watching her live. Take a look at the title of her Twitch stream. Ethan Klein Hassan Content Nuke Watch Party. A watch party? I don't think that's fair use. Now, Denims, of course, always delivering the goods. She went on this dude's podcast to debate fair use. And would you be surprised if I told you she said a lot of incriminating things in that podcast? The queen of self-own never disappoints.
I want to be clear.
Yeah, wow. Some of these, this is what I've been saying from the beginning, right? People are just dumb. They're very titled, narcissistic. Like everything is kind of geared towards what benefits me the most, which is actually strangely a mirror image of the capitalists that they claim to hate. But they feel entitled to anything and everything for themselves at any point. Quite concerning, really.
Clear on my opinion on like filler content and stuff. Like I think filler content, like you shouldn't do it. I know I do it as a React streamer, and I try to do it only when I do it with like Vox videos or Vice videos and stuff like that, because at least I'm not like directly ripping from one content creator and not like a whole team.
It's such an irrelevant point. But also, I just don't actually believe her. When she says I try to make it like about this, that means that there's probably times that you don't, right? So it's actually kind of just disingenuous. What this is called is minimizing
And stuff. And most of those videos have like 5 million views. I only get like 500 viewers. I'm taking maybe 50 views from the video. It's a lot harder to feel like, I guess, bad about that. Whereas like I would feel very bad about doing that to like a single content creator.
That picture. You look like fucking Fabio. Did you see that?
Million views. I only get like 500 viewers. I'm taking maybe 50 views from the video. It's a lot harder to feel like, I guess, bad about that. Whereas like I would feel very bad about doing that to like a single.
Look at him. He looks like fucking Fabio. That's so funny.
Content creator. The majority of people say that they literally wouldn't watch Hell's Kitchen unless I was streaming it. And it doesn't necessarily mean that I'm reacting hard enough. You know, I'm sure if you click on a random part in the video, I might not be saying anything, sure, whatever. And I might walk away from the screen. But it's about like the communal thing. It's why like fucking Toast started streaming Death Note. It's not about the actual show at a certain point. It's the same.
Why are they even watching it if you're barely putting anything into it? Why are people even watching someone like Denims? What is she even providing to people? You're sitting there watching Hell's Kitchen. You can literally watch it yourself with your friends and have a laugh. Why are you watching it with Denims, who isn't even providing any humor, any wit, any insight, anything to... Why would you even...
reason you watch shows with your friends. You want to watch it with other people. A lot of people go to watch streamers on Twitch for their React content almost as a curator. So they don't actually want to go through YouTube themselves and watch a bunch of videos, and they probably never will go through YouTube and click a bunch of videos. They like going to Twitch because they like to have it as like, this streamer is curating fun content that I want to watch.
Like, I'm sure
From the people that I've talked to, the people who...
I think there is actually an argument to say that like a streamer or people who do React content, they could be sort of somewhat like taste makers in a way in that respect. That doesn't mean that they should just be able to sit there and just watch the whole thing with no extra. The logic doesn't follow. It's a non sequitur. I actually learned what non sequitur means recently. So I'm trying to put it into my language a bit more.
Who watch Twitch content are specifically there to watch it so they don't have to scroll through YouTube and find a video they like. If someone watches content, I already said this, if someone watches content on someone else's stream, there is a very low likelihood that they're going to go watch it separately and give you like the view or the like, or the people who are watching
wrong. If anything, like they're less likely to go to stream and watch the original video. Sometimes when I've seen React videos and I get like 5 minutes into a React video and I realize the guy that's reacting to it is bullshit and just saying stuff that's irrelevant, doesn't really matter, and I'm actually way more interested in the original video, then I will go and watch the original video. But there's many times I've watched React content and I've just watched that React video to it, and that's pretty much it.
Content on Twitch, curated.
So it's a mixed bag, but I would say in general, I would say it's more likely that it takes views from the
Twitch content on Twitch aren't necessarily people that would be watching content on YouTube.
That, my friend, is called theft, and you're a thief, and now I'm suing you. This is just a testimony to how brazen and how safe they've, gotten. That she thinks she can go out in public on video and say shit like, I'm stealing this content because I want to. I'm coping even though I know it's stealing. When people watch it with me, they're definitely not going to go watch the original. Like, you are way too comfortable committing crimes out in the open. Well, there you have it. 3 separate lawsuits for 3 separate geniuses. Now, I want to make it clear again, and I hope it's been obvious about why I'm suing these 3 people and not others. These people not only violated all of the principles of fair use, they also did it maliciously. And that's the part that really got me. I think if you're a reactor on Twitch, for the most part, if you make a good faith effort to comment, and if you make a good faith effort to promote the author, to link to them, to try to drive traffic to the original video, I think you're probably pretty much doing the right thing, and that's fine. And I would never sue someone for that. Take it to these 3 absolute morons to state their intention to steal my property on video. And to all the detractors who are saying that I'm...
Yeah, it is just a fair point. There's just no way you can really contest. If people are literally conspiring openly, these Reddits, in public, on their streams, like, how can you can't come back from that. Can't come back from that. That's like me getting on stream being like, hey guys, I've got my GoPro with me today. I'm actually just going to enter this person's property and I'm going to come in here and I'm just stuff. But it's fine because they're rich. And then expect nothing to happen to me despite getting it all on camera and incriminating myself. Like, come on now. This is just not good.
Targeting women, that I'm a hypocrite for suing for copyright infringement. I just have this to say. I don't care. What I do hope, though, is that you'll support their crowdfunding efforts to defend themselves. Because let's face it, I want to make sure there's money left over for me when I win my lawsuits. Thanks for watching, everybody. It's been a great time. I'll see you around.
Okay, that was pretty shady. I'm not going to lie. That last line was pretty shady, to be fair. But yeah, I mean, there we have it. He's going on a rampage. He's doing the right thing, really, by going after these guys, making an example, because realistically, if it was a massive company, they could fuck over the entire space. At the very least, he's just making it so people can't feel they can just brazenly rip off your content. And that's his goal. He stated that goal. I believe him, just because in the past with his other lawsuits and stuff, he said what his intention was. That intention came through, and that was the result. So he has a track record. I don't believe that he's trying to use this to go above and beyond. Some people he's saying that he might try and settle. I don't think he's going to settle, actually. I don't think he's going to settle. I think he is legitimately going to go through a full gamut here. Again, to make that example, and to probably have it on the books then. This is like a landmark case, again, in fair use with him. Yeah, I reckon he's doing the right thing. Fair play to him. It kind of needs to be. Does kind of need to be. Guys have been getting away with this very, very, very long. It's not really just about this video. It's about the entire, just the entire space, commentary space. It's just much bigger problem just in the content. Yeah, alright, well, I'm going to get going. That's my stream for the day. And this is what I'm going to be doing now for the rest of the week. I'm going to be, finding something to react to, or maybe it might even be some tweets, or something, I don't know. Just like, maybe a song, maybe some tweets, whatever, a bit of media, something. And just coming in and just commenting on it, basically. Just, reactions. I'll do some reviews. All that good stuff. So if you want to tune in for that, then please get in, subscribe, keep your eyes peeled. I'll be streaming every day this week. It'll probably just be random, different times. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I'll probably just be whenever I feel like it, randomly. But it will be happening. It will be happening, and it should be fun. I'm trying to have more fun. I feel like I talk about a lot of serious stuff. I'm trying to move away from that. I want to have a bit more fun on this channel. So yeah, anyway, that's enough of me chatting shit. Like, subscribe, all that fucking crap. See you later, guys. See you tomorrow. Oh, I pressed the wrong thing. I pressed the YouTube video thinking that was going to end the stream. Like, oh my god. Sometimes I look at myself and I go, who are you? Who are you? Jeez.